Yeah, 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 yeah. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothas Get a Rap podcast. We're back with today's Sunday or Thursday?
Sunday, my G.
Sunday. See, I'm not good with days, but today is the Sunday night special episode 42, and you already know what it do. I'm your host Ashley Lovechild, joined with my brother from another mother. Blood couldn't make it any closer. One of the best photographers in the world. Santana, say something to the people.
What's good? What's good? What's good, y'all? You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, we got a packed show for y'all. So, we got a lot of content, a lot of topics to talk about. So we're gonna get right into it. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? And as y'all tune in, make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit it often and early. And you already know to stay, in the comments. We like to have fun with the comments and everything. Shout out to the chat here, in here, thick. Pause. Pause. No Diddy. That's the new thing now, bro. It is no more no homo. Now it's no Diddy. That's the word I got back from home. Back home, they was like, "Yo, bro, we not saying no homo no more. We saying no Diddy." I'm like, okay. So I'm just letting that be known. You know what I mean?
They could keep that. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the old school. It's no homo and pause for me until the day I die. You know what I'm saying? Them young cats could do no Diddy. You know what I'm saying? That's for them. I'm sticking to what I know. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I'm gonna say whatever feels good. Pause. You know what I'm saying? See, I'm still saying pause. You know what I mean? So who knows? All right. So tapping in again. Great. A big shout out already to the chat. Yo, rolling back already in the building. You already know what it do. You know what I'm saying? Santana, can you read the
Oh
chat?
yeah, that's a fact. I can read it now. Yeah, we early in this bitch rolling jack. You know what I'm saying? We on
You know,
time.
off the titty top. All right, so starting off with our very first segment, our popular opinion segment is brought to you by OUV Records. The motto is create, document, and inspire. Go to the Instagram right now for the latest in music and also merchandise. Like you see that hat? Yeah, that hat. Huh? And they also come with these boxes if you get over a certain amount of merch. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you get your merch as well. Our first question of the night. Best rap album on this list from 2008. Number one, Lil Wayne Carter 3. Number two, Kanye West 808 Heartbreak. Number three, T.I. Paper Trails. Number four, Rick Ross Triller album. And again, let us know what y'all think in the chat as well. You know what I'm saying? Let us know.
I'm gonna have to go with Lil Wayne, Carter 3, son.
Carter 3.
Yeah,
Why? Why you going with
that
Carter?
shit was just that shit. Oh, that's someone that was just crazy in the club. So every time that shit dropped, oh man, son, that shit was just you just had to be there. So the clubs was going crazy, drinks was flowing, females was going wild. Every time they dropped a couple of singles off that album, it was just a sight to be seen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing Carter threes. I'm seeing 808s. I'm seeing Kanye. So I'm seeing a mix of both. Me personally, I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna hold you. I was bumping a lot of that Ti Paper Trails that year. I'm not even gonna hold you. But the question is, who is the best rap album? I'm gonna have to go with 808, man. I'm gonna have to go with 808 Heartbreak by Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? That was a hard decision for me because I'm not the biggest Kanye West fan, but respects due. I think he had the best album on this list, and that Rick Ross Triller album was also very fire. I was bumping that a lot too that year. So, you went with Carter 3. I went with 808. In the chat, you see 808. You see Carter 3. Uh, that Pop Smoke braids was not for this nigga here. Yeah, this is not Pop Smoke braids. I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but you know what I'm saying. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to Jay. Good try though. Good try. I feel you. Good try. You know what I'm saying. I trust me. I look good with a baldy no matter what I got. So good try though. I'll take your girl too. So, but anyway, the rest of the world went with Kanye West 808 Heartbreak. So I'm not mad at that. Obviously, that was my answer to that. So, you know what I'm saying? So, moving on. All right, question number 2. All-time best NBA player on this list. Number 1, Carmelo Anthony. Number 2, Paul George. Number 3, Scottie Pippen. Number 4, Kawhi Leonard.
All time best,
All-time best. All-time.
Scottie Pippen.
Scottie?
Scottie Pippen. All time best.
Bro, Scottie though.
Off that list, Scottie Pippen, all time best. That's the question.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going with Kawhi easily. I don't even think like I'm going with Kawhi, bro. I'm going with Kawhi. Carmelo, the best offensively all time on out of everybody on this list. As far as getting buckets, as far as overall game on offense, Paul George. Scottie Pippen is the second best defender on this list. He's the second best. He's not even the best defender on this list. He's the worst scorer on this list, and he's the worst rebounder on this list. So even though all due props to Scottie Pippen, he played a part in them championships, but he's still a role player. He's not a superstar, in my opinion. I'm going with Kawhi. Kawhi is the best defender on this list, and he gets buckets at a major level when he needs to get buckets. I've never seen anybody clamp down Kawhi Leonard. Like, he's hella strong. He got the three ball. He got the mid range. He got the low post, and he clamps you down. They don't call him the claw for no reason. So I'm going with Kawhi on this list as well. The chat going with Scotty. I'm seeing the chat go with Scotty. So you went with Scotty, the chat went with Scotty. I'm going with Kawhi. The rest of the world went with Kawhi at 50%. And not to mention, Kawhi took a Toronto team to the chip, won the chip, Dolo. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, props, dude. I think he's outside of. Do Paul George got the championship? Nah, Paul George don't even got no chips. He don't got no chips. Melo don't got no chips. Scotty has a chip on Chicago, obviously, but when he went to Houston, with Charles Barkley and Akeem Olajuwon, they was out in the first round. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, shout out to Rowan 12 in the building. You already know the vibes. It's my birthday today, King. Yo, happy birthday to you, man. Happy birthday to Rowan 12. You know, one of the originals of the chat. You know what I'm saying? The faithful holding it down chat member. Shout out to Rowan 12. Happy birthday, brother. He
Yeah,
wants
shout out to you. Happy birthday. You heard?
he wants you to sing something. He wants you
Yeah.
to vocal. All right, so moving on. I best stand up comedian was best stand up comedy show on this list. All right. Number 1, The Kings of Comedy with Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley. Number 2, Richard Pryor Live from Sunset. Number 3, Eddie Murphy Raw. Number 4, Cat Williams Pimpin' Pimpin'. Sing happy birthday.
Mm, I'm gonna have to go with Eddie Murphy, Raw. Yeah. Yeah. They say you lagging. Yeah.
Your ass is frozen.
Oh yeah, you good now?
I'm good now.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so um, I'm gonna go with Richard Pryor. I'm gonna go with Richard Pryor live from the sunset. I love that set. I can still watch that to this day. That show came out in the '80s, and it still go crazy now. Thinking about some of those jokes. So I'm gonna go with Richard Pryor. You went with Eddie Murphy Raw. The chat they going with I've seen something with Eddie Murphy at the top, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I seen Raw. Um, the rest of the world went with Eddie Murphy Raw at 31%. Yeah. So cool. All right, moving on. Uh, best hip hop label on this list. Best hip hop label on this list. Number one, No Limit Records. Number two, Rap A Lot Records. Number three, So Def. Number four, Luke Records. And people,
Mm.
Luke Records had a lot of artists. Like outside, I know when they think of Uncle Luke, they think of Two Live Crew, but people forget he had Bulldog, Pitbull as well, and he also had you remember the R&B group? Um, oh man, I just had it in my head. The R&B group. I hear this song in my head right now. Hold on, Luke Records artists. And they sung on the soundtrack of the Martin soundtrack. H Town, H Town, H
Mm.
Town. Had to make sure I got that H Town.
I'm gonna go with So Def.
So Def,
Yeah.
Rolling 12. I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you. Pause. Yeah, feeling you. He said Ashley Lovechild Records. It's actually OUV Records, but I feel you though. You know what I'm saying? We got some dope artists. Um, but yeah, you saying So Def?
Yeah.
Why So Def in particular? What artist you think of immediately when you think of So Def that made you say that's the best artist on this list?
They had
Or
Chris Cross. They had Bow Wow. They had. I think didn't they have Escape? Was it Escape?
yeah,
They
yes.
had Escape.
Uh huh.
Uh, what's her face? The Brat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's just, and then when they dropped, like it was, they really brought the South out. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta specifically, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but it was pivotal when they came out and shit. So I'm gonna go with So Def.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I think musically, it comes down for me to Rap A Lot and Social Def. Um, Social Def more so because they had more they had more balance because they had R&B. Rap A Lot had just rap. I want to say No Limit because they like even though they had good artists, but they're business savvy and them being ahead of their time as far as the business, the album covers, the way they went about videos, the way they went about doing albums. I want to say No Limit, but this is about who had the best label. Mm. I'm going to say No Limit. I'm going to say No Limit. I think No Limit, the time that they had a very big impact and it changed how the record industry is run altogether. They don't have the hits as So Def. Like, let's keep it 1,000 on that. Like, they don't have the hits. But I'm still gonna go with No Limit because of the fact that they changed the way the game is ran. I think I can't say that Social Def changed the way people make music, in my opinion. So I'm going with No Limit. The rest of the world, they went with Social Def at 64%. It wasn't even close. Like they smoked everybody at 64%.
That makes sense.
Okay. All right, so moving on. Last question of popular opinions. best TV show on this list. All right. Number one, the Jamie Foxx show. Number two, Rock. Number three, the Wayans Brothers. Number four, Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Oh, most definitely Wayne's Brothers.
Why you chose Wayans Brothers?
That's the show I watched the most.
Okay.
Like that was just the shit was just always funny. Not saying that Jamie Foxx wasn't funny, but it wasn't like rewatchable for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like I watched Wayne's Brothers more than all the other shows.
Okay. Okay. I like the Jamie Foxx show on this list as well, but I have a friend of mine who's a big fan of the Jamie Foxx show, and the Jamie Foxx show is funny, but there's not a lot of quotables to that show. Is it like they have memorable episodes when you're watching, like, oh, I remember this episode, but it's nothing off the top of your head that's like, yo, if you had to define the Jamie Foxx show that have never seen the Jamie Foxx show, you can't tell them, yo, go to this episode and you'll get it automatically. Opposed to other top tier shows, like opposed to the Wayans Brothers, I can easily say, yo, the episode that defines the Wayans Brothers, in my opinion, is when they found Pop's old tape when he was singing with the temp tones and try to get the tones back together. You see what I'm saying? Like one of the lead singers was like
Yeah, yeah.
and now he turned into a whole transvestite.
It was a couple of episodes on the Wayans Brothers that was like, oh, I remember this one. The one where they had the job when Sean got that job at the corporate office, and he only got the job because he was like the what you would call like he was like one of the what's that shit? He was basically like fucking. He wasn't doing no actual work. He was just
Hmm?
sharpening pencils and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he was putting staplers on papers and shit. And then
Hmm.
later on we found out that that was like
He was a
I
token.
forget the term. Yeah, the token hire type shit.
Yeah.
Or the episode where Pops started dressing mad young and he got more fresh than Marlon
Mhm.
and Wayne's and
Yeah,
shit with the
yeah.
hair. That shit had me dying. So he's like, where you get them Tic Tac Timberland boots from, yo?
And
And
the
they had
dot.
the pearly white Tims.
Yeah, yeah. The white symbols, the dada he had on the dada.
He had
So,
the one leg rolled up, you know what I'm saying? Yo,
so
with the
yeah,
that shit had me crying. They had the little Scully on and
yeah,
shit with
yeah,
the bubble goose.
yeah, yeah,
Yo, that shit had me crying, son.
yeah. See that,
Classic.
and that's what I mean. That's the difference between the Wayans Brothers and Jamie Foxx show to me. Same thing with Rock. That people forget. My answer is Rock. To be honest with you, because the Rock show was not only funny, he had us laughing at like his a relationship with his wife, him and his brother, the relationship with him and his pops. But there was a serious side to Rock too that really addressed what was going on in the neighborhoods worldwide at that time, which was drugs and
Mhm.
the use and sell of drugs and the availability of drugs and the violence going up. They addressed all of that on the show. And funny enough, people don't remember Jamie Foxx started off on The Rock. Well, on
Mm.
Rock, so he played the next door neighbor. People don't remember that. So, and it's another funny bit to the Rock, but just to finish my point, even with hanging with Mr. Cooper, especially I love that first season. They like their first like ingredients for that first season when they had Holly Robinson Pete and Jennifer Lewis, but then they got rid of Jennifer Lewis and brought on Raven Simone and made the show more kiddish. But that
Mhm.
first was so clutch. And there's more quotables and more episodes from that first season than I can even think of the Jamie Foxx show. So I'm going with Rock. My brother went with the Wayans brothers. The rest of the world, they went with hanging with Mr. Cooper at 33%.
I don't really remember hanging with Mr. Cooper too much.
No, I do. I do. I remember that episode when the Warriors want him to go back, and he's in practice balling against Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullins, getting killer crossover by Tim Hardaway, and he tried to guard Chris Mullins, and Chris Mullins pulled up the step back 3-point on him, and the coach looking at him like, yeah, I don't know, you might have to go back to hit the locker rooms, and then he started going off. I remember that episode was fire. That episode was fire. So it's a lot of top tier episodes I remember off the top, and not to mention Hanging with the Cooper had probably the best theme opening in all the show history. You know what I'm saying? We had In Vogue looking wild, sexy, singing, serenading him while they carrying him and all that. So I'm saying I ain't mad at that. You know what I mean? But before I move on, I must make this point about Rock. It's funny how the evolution of the man and woman thing has not evolved, because even in the 90s, there was an episode on Rock where, because he's a garbage man, his wife is like, yo, everything in here is from the garbage, yo. Like, can there be one time you could just do something so crazy that it'll show me that you really care about me? So she went to work. He comes home. He's like, yo, I tried to think of the most thing, the biggest thing that I could do for you to show you that I care. So I bought you this new dress. And she was like, you bought me a new dress? So what? Like, come on. Like, you bought me. And he said, but I didn't buy it on sale. She was like, word? You didn't buy it on sale? Stop
Yeah.
playing. So the
So
dress
he
was
spent
pop.
top dollar.
Huh?
I said he spent top dollar for her. You know what I'm saying?
So this is like the 90s, right? This is like 93, right? So so he spent over $1,000 for this particular dress.
Damn.
So she starts spazzing on him about spending all the bread. Like, yo, but he's confused. Like, you just walk out of here saying you want me to do something so crazy for you to show you that I care about you. And then he took it a step further. He got tickets because they was in Baltimore. He got tickets to New York City so they could stay in a nice hotel and have a good weekend. You did what? Then he bought her a little pony, so she could walk around the crib on the little pony. She like, yo, you bought me a pony, man? Like, how much all this run you? 2 racks. So she was tight with him for showing her exactly what she wanted. So it just goes to show that this evolution of man woman thing is yet to really evolve and materialize to something that makes,
That's funny, son.
you know what I
Nigga
mean?
did for her and it wasn't what she wanted. And what do you want then?
You feel me? So
You know?
it's very confusing. It's very confusing.
Nah, facts.
So moving on to Hollywood need to ask us. Now we came up with this concept or this segment because there's a lot of trash movies out there. Hollywood need to ask us what we want to see in movie theaters. You want to kick this one off?
I need to see a Johnny Quest movie, son. This was
Oh,
a dope cartoon growing up. It was one of like Hanna-Barbera's like flagship cartoons about a son, a father and a son. Well, the father is like a top scientist and he goes around the world solving stuff. And he has one of his like bodyguards, top dude, like top bodyguard, you know what I'm saying? Like they got a sniper, you know what I'm saying? His son, and then they got a dog and they got an adopted son, an Indian kid, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Dope show. They the pops had wild bread. They flying in like they private jets all over the world and all that shit. Like the shit was an ill cartoon. So I would love to see it as a live action, more so series than a movie, because it was like so many episodes in there that it was just like it would be too much for a whole movie. But to like bring it back out to the populace again, because I don't know if too many people remember this cartoon. But to bring it back out, I'd love to see it as a series, probably like Netflix or Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Prime, I think, could do a good job. You know what I'm saying? They got the bread for it. So a Johnny Quest series would be fucking fire for me to see that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, okay. I remember Johnny Quest. I never watched Johnny Quest, but I remember it though. You know what I'm saying? I remember the name, but I never sat down and really watched Johnny Quest. Venture Bros.
I ain't
um,
really get into Venture Bros too much. I
yeah,
remember it on like Cartoon Network, I think it was on, but I ain't get into it too heavy.
I don't even remember Adventure Bros. It was on the
I just
cartoon.
remember, I believe it's on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I never heard of that one. Never heard of that one. I'll look it up though. If you find anything on YouTube, I'm gonna look it up. You know what I mean? I
Facts.
So Hollywood need to ask us. I want to see another coming of age movie. I want to see something made in the same vein of The Wood or like Poetic Justice, something in that vein with that same uh, movie grain, the vibe, urban, again more modernized, but not too. I don't want it to be too I don't want it to be goofy. I want it to be funny. Like when I watch The Wood, it's funny and it doesn't come off as goofy. When I watch Poetic Justice, it's a coming of age movie, but it's an older coming of age movie. It has some seriousness to it, but Poetic Justice has some downright hilarious, hysterical parts. And majority of the parts that we're laughing at least for me, is parts that we shouldn't be laughing about. Like when I think of Poetic Justice, when you got two baby daddies sitting in the front of the stoop, smoking, chilling, being peaceful, that's cool. But then their BM is up there with their kids, smoking rocks and getting it popping with some next dude. It's like, yo. And then, but you found the humor in that because the way they made the script and the way they, facilitated that whole scene. So there's parts in there that is like I want to see that coming of age with his best friend Lucky always brushing his waves or whatever, and they busting moves in the truck. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make a living from their truck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see another coming of age movie in that same vein. The Wood mixed with Poetic Justice too. Who knows? Maybe we might get a Poetic Justice. Who knows? Maybe we could get a Poetic Justice 2 from this where, Janet Jackson, could be the mother of her and Tupac's child or whatever the case may be. And, you know what I'm saying? And make it
Yeah.
get towards that. So I think that's something that people would love and want to see on the big screen.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
been a minute since a coming of age movie. The last one I remember, I think it was it Dope? Was it that? It was like 2015 or something like that.
it's been a while.
It's been a minute, son.
It's been a while.
Me- Is, was it Dope? I gotta look it up. But yeah, I
And I
think
think
that was like
go
the
ahead.
last one. I think that was like the last one. Buddy was like in high school. It was like in LA. Buddy was in high school. He's mad smart, but it's LA and he's like in a gang infested neighborhood, trying
Mm-hmm.
to, I mean, he's trying to stay in the straight and narrow and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the name of the movie was Dope. But again, that shit was like 2015. So that was like a good 9 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it would be dope to get a new coming of age movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And we need them resources delegated properly to something like this. You know what I'm saying? Don't shortchange it. And make sure that the color grade is right. And you know what I'm saying? We need something like this. We need something like this
Yeah. Facts.
because all that comes to the movie theaters now is just Marvel stuff. You know what I'm saying? At least in my opinion. All right. Moving on. Before we move on again, make sure y'all mash that like button. Continue to mash that like button. Hit that subscribe button, and make sure you continue to, chime in the comments. All right. Make sure y'all go to patreon.com. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? Again, patreon.com. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? And stay in tune and purchase some of those new merchandise that we have. So make sure y'all tune in to Patreon. Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? And also follow on Patreon. We're going to have some dope stuff coming up. All right, moving on to our must see segment. I must see movies, must hear music, and must see classic show. You want to kick this one off, or you want me to throw my three
Yeah, I'll kick it off. It's no
out? Okay.
pressure. All right, so you already know how I do. I got a theme always. So my theme is movies about the internet. So for the first one, classic movie. Like I gotta have. You should have seen this. If not, you gotta go see it. Is The Net. Came out in 1995. Stars Sandra Bullock, Jeremy Northam, Diane Baker, Margot Winkler, Dennis Miller, Ray Mc, McKinnon, sorry, and Gerald Burns. Dope movie, just showcases how the internet was just coming about. So they have floppy disks. You know what I'm saying? Like which we call app not Apple, Windows 95. It was like probably 94 at the time. So that was the big thing. And you just gotta see how the movie progresses and just seeing how technology was back then. And it was like almost 20 years ago. So you know what I'm saying? So it's a dope movie. Concept was dope. And it just shows that they was monitoring the internet since back then. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Dope movie. Check it out when you get a chance. Next movie is Antitrust. Came out in 2001. Stars Peter Hoyt, Ryan Phillippe, Tim Robbins, Claire Fornelli, Rachel Lee Cook, Nate Dushki, pause, Ed Bashir, and Richard Roundtree. Dope movie is about this programmer who gets hired to go to a top tier, as we would call them now, those venture capitalist firms, and then come to find out his boss is stealing ideas from all these programmers. You got to watch the movie to see how it progresses. Dope movie, dope concept. Ryan Phillippe is a great actor in this movie, so you gotta check it out. Last one, of course, is a major classic. You know what I'm saying? The Social Network. Dope movie, came out in 2010, about the Facebook and how it came about. Came out with stars Jesse Eisenberg, Andrew Garfield, Justin Timberlake, Aaron Sorkin, Armie Hammer, Dakota Johnson, Rooney Mara, and Rashida Jones. Fire movie, showcases the beginnings of the Facebook. They don't even call it the Facebook now; they call it Meta. But back then, when it first came out, it was just strictly for college students. You have to be in college to even get the Facebook, and now it just it's for everybody now. But back then, that's how it was. It was very selected on how you could get on the Facebook, and you needed an email address from your school to get in the network. And this just shows how the beginnings of the social network of Facebook came about, who were the players, and how they pushed it to become such a big phenomenon that it is today. So movies about the internet that y'all gotta go see. It nigga Ron said he banned from Facebook. Damn, bro. Movies about the internet is The Net, Antitrust, and The Social Network. Definitely check those movies out. You won't be disappointed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure y'all check those out. Some dope movies on that list. All right, moving on to my three movies. I don't have a theme like my brother. He always got a theme. I always go, freestyle type. But I feel like I name movies that y'all have never seen before. So let's tap into it. My first movie is called Trois, like Menage a Trois. Trois 3. Again, it's called Trois 3. Came out in 2004. Directed by Selvin White. Stars Brian White, Isaiah Washington, Regine Gomez Preston, Patrice Fisher, Donnie Donner, Donna Bisco, and Bone Crusher. Pause. Dope movie. It's about a woman that runs a brothel and of men and women, but people start mysteriously dying, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. So make sure y'all tap into Trois 3. Again, it's called Trois 3. What they saying in chat? Theme Man, Santana, and Shogun Ash.
Hmm.
Alright. My next movie is called VHS. Came out in 2012. It stars Simon Barrett, Adam Wingard, Hannah Fireman, Matt uh, Beninelli, and Joe Swinberg. Dope fire movie. It starts off about young kids taping like their their crimes. They're like they taping crimes, just like how social media is doing right now. They tape their crimes, and they've been asked to do a special crime at a special house. And in this special house, they have to go look for something. And you got to see the rest of the movie. It's a fire movie. Again, it's called VHS. It's a horror. It's a horror. This one is a horror. But it's a fire movie. Make sure y'all tap into this. And my third movie is called The Great Divide. Directed by Ibrahim Yella. Stars Tashina Arnold, Golden Brooks, Darren DeWitt Henson, and Richard T. Jones. It's about a group of friends that get together once a month, and the subject of the Kama Sutra actually starts opening doors and telling secrets, and you gotta see the rest of the movie. So make sure y'all tap into The Great Divide, VHS, and Twa 3. Make sure y'all tap in. You ever seen any of those, bro?
I've seen just the one, just VHS. I ain't
VHS?
seen the Great Divide or Twa.
Okay, okay. Shout out to R. Kelly in the building. You already know what it is. You still like my music? Take all of Ashley's movies, combine them with all, and it becomes 8 millimeter. It kind of do. It kind of do. It kind of do. You must have looked the movies up immediately, Roman. You must have looked those up because if you combine them, you kind of do get 8 millimeter out of all of them. So that's funny. Shout out to Z Man in the building. Shout out to Z Man in the building. Yeah. All right. So moving on to our must hear segment. 3 albums that y'all must tune into. Tune Smith Can We Talk album. It's an R&B album. Tap into that. It's fire from front to back. Classic R&B. Again, his name is Tone Smith. Can We Talk album.
When that should drop.
That one dropped. I forgot to write that one down. I forgot to. But that's the most recent one. I believe off the top of my head, I would say like 2017 to 2018. But it's
All
a
right.
fire must hear album. Tone Smith, Can We Talk album. Second, Ashanti's Declaration album. That one came out in 2008. Front to back bangers on that album. Fire album. It's a must hear. Also R&B. And I finished it off for R&B. A must hear album. Mario Winans Hurt No More album came out in 2004. Must hear, top tier, fire R&B album. Again, the Mario Winans Hurt No More, Ashanti Declaration album, and Tone Smith Can We Talk album. So make sure y'all tap in to those albums. You got a classic.
What'd you say?
You got a classic show. I found Ashton.
Oh yeah. Damn, I didn't write this shit down. Oh yeah, I did write it down. All right. So classic show is was on Stars. Should be still on Stars today. It's called Spartacus. Came out 2010. Had 3 seasons. Stars Andy Whitfield John, Hannah Manuel, Bennett Aaron, Pause, Cummings Lucy, crazy name, Lucy Lawless, uh, then Manu Bennett, Katrina Law, John Hanna, and Leslie Aim Brandt. So, it's around the Roman Empire times, and it's about this dude who gets captured and gets thrown into the gladiator pits, becomes a top gladiator, and then he turns on the Roman Empire. Y'all starts a rebellion, and you gotta watch the seasons to watch it. Very bloody, very graphic. Like Stars ain't hold back on this one. Like there's a lot of graphic stuff going on there, but it just showcases what the Roman Empire would be at its peak, the players, how they move, politics, and how people use other people to get themselves in certain positions of key power. Fire show for sure. Had 3 seasons, and you won't be disappointed. Each season at least had 13 episodes, and they're all top tier. You know what I'm saying? So definitely go check that shit out. It's on Stars. It's called Spartacus.
Dope, dope, dope. Again, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. All right, my classic show that is a must see had 3 seasons, and I think the last season probably was the best, and that's saying a lot because the first 2 seasons was like upper echelon top tier. So my classic must see show is called The Following. It stars Kevin Bacon, Joe
Okay.
Perry, Sean Ashmore, Adam Canto, and Michael Ealy. Fire show, fire show. It was about a murderer that was just ahead of the game, ahead of everybody. Nobody can stop this top tier murderer except for one dude that could get into his mind and help slow this man down. But it just seemed like the more he tried to slow him down, the more he was ahead of the game. And it's a must see show. So make sure y'all tap into again The Following. Uh yo, shout out to my bro Kai in the building. You already know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? My brother Kai in the building. You already know. You know what I'm saying? F. Jones, Brooklyn in the
I did
building.
see that. I was watching the first season and I kind of fell off on that shit, and it was pretty good the first season. So I gotta get back on it again and shit, because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
first season was lit.
The second season was phenomenal. But when Michael Ealy came on the show, bro, it went to a whole nother level. Like I'm telling you, I probably binge watch that again just for myself. To be honest with you, like that's how good The Following is. So make sure y'all tap into The Following. All right. Again, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. All right, you got cologne for us?
Gotta have the smell goods. Gotta have the smell goods. You know, if you look good, you do good. You feel good. You gotta smell good. So the cologne for this night is called True Western, and the scent is called Yellowstone Ride Reserve. Crazy name, but don't let that fool you. The scent is crazy. You can't go wrong with this one. You can't go wrong with any of the choices we make for a cologne. So this one tonight is called True Western Yellowstone Ride Reserve. Get you a bottle. You heard?
Make sure y'all get that. Go out and get that. You heard? Moving on to our time to rap segment. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get classic movie shows, documentaries, as well as original content for $4.99. First thing on Can the Brothers Get a Rap? Or Time to Rap segment, I should say. The Corey Haim, actor Corey Haim situation came up again. The allegations against Charlie Sheen raping him on the set of the Lucas movie. So those allegations is popping up again, and I'm guessing because now Charlie Sheen is back into the public eye. He's working on projects that he will be a part of. So those allegations is working its way back into the forefront of the news. What do you think
Mm.
about?
My thing is like, it's so many people on set. You know what I'm saying? It's like probably over 100 people on set when it comes to any given project. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then you're a top tier star because they're here for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody from the sound guy to the lighting guy, the dude doing grips, the dude doing the fucking electricity. It's a whole bunch of people. It's a whole bunch of crews. So for nobody to know nothing and nobody not to see nothing is like, it's kind of far fetched. It's more so people seeing what was going on, but for the sake of their job and their career, they just look the other way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, uh, it's sad that it happened to him, but I'm pretty sure there's more people that seen it that need to come out and save face. It's been over like, you know what I'm saying, 30 plus years. You know what I'm saying? So you need to come out and say, yes, this happened, or no, it didn't happen, or you didn't see it happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure those people that worked on that set for that particular movie have gone on to bigger and better things. So that's why nobody else ain't saying nothing. So it's like Hollywood. It's the nature of Hollywood where it's an open secret of how shit goes. You know what I'm saying? One of my mans that work on set, you know what I'm saying, be telling me not crazy shit, but it just be like a lot of people be on set. And anytime a star has to go to their trailer, they let people know, and everybody on set knows, like, hey, this particular star is going to the trailer to probably review their lines, take a nap, get something to eat, or whatever. So for you to be Charlie Sheen in the 80s, you top tier. You know what I'm saying? You up there. For you to go off and don't nobody know that you dipped off real quick
Mm-hmm.
to go, you know what I'm saying, do what you're doing, like, it's kind of far fetched. So it's crazy that he's back in the scene trying to get his bread up again. And I mean, them shits ain't gonna, those allegations ain't gonna go away until you either debunk those allegations, or, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I,
pop in the tape, show them what you did last night type of joint. You know what I'm saying?
I I think that's very interesting because a lot of the old school way of thinking is like you let something fester long enough, you don't have to address it because it's not true, right? But my thing is, there's nothing wrong with it addressing something, say this is not true, and then leave it alone. You don't have to keep going back and forth with what is the truth. You've never really heard Charlie Sheen really debunk any of these, and the stories that come out is funny because majority of people that's talking about it is people that wasn't on the project. They got all these stories about what happened to Corey Haim, but it's not from people that was working on the project. It's all, yeah, I've heard the story, blah blah blah. It's all people that wasn't a part of the projects, but the people that was a part of that project, that movie, and I don't want to come out and say nothing. And this young man at the time said, "Hey, this happened between the trailers where he bit me over through, and did what he did or whatever." Like, and this is in between the trailers. So in between the trailers, just like you said, on any given set, on any given movie set, it's about 100 people running around actively doing stuff.
Right.
So nobody's seen nothing. So, and you hear all these stories again. So all these people that was on the set, they're not gonna come out and say something, but they're gonna go home and tell their mans, be like, "Yo, dude, Charlie Sheen is a wild dude. He did this to this kid, but I can't come out and say nothing because I ain't gonna ever work again. But because you wasn't a part of this film, you could come out and say something, and at least it will come out. But you ain't come out and say nothing.
Right.
So it is an allegation, but do this tarnish his reputation because it's an allegation in the eyes of Hollywood? It has not. It has not. But a dude like Charlie Sheen, who's been in Hollywood for 40 plus years now, he's done some dope movies, but this don't debunk none of that. Like, okay, you did some dope movies, but that's real grimy if this happened, if this allegation did happen. And this young man has been putting his name, well, he's been saying this for years. And
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that shit happened to Charlie Sheen. You know what I'm saying? In his early days coming up. And the
right.
reason why I say that is because they just dropped a documentary about Nickelodeon and Phil Schneider, who was like a big producer for all that. Um, the Amanda Bynes show. Um, he did a lot of shit. He did a lot of programs and stuff like that. Stuff that we grew up on. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And there was a lot of allegations about, you know what I'm saying, he was messing with them little kids, you know what I'm saying? And then when you go back and look at some of the shows, like the jokes were like really, really inappropriate, but us being as kids, we didn't notice that. But if you
Mhm.
go back and look at it now as being an adult, you'd be like, whoa, why were these kids doing these, you know what I'm saying, these scenes? And it's like, it's real, you know what I'm saying, real crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And again, that's another part of Hollywood. It's Nickelodeon. It's on set. It's hundreds of people on set. Don't nobody know nothing. Like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There was allegations that Amanda Bynes has said it. There was times where um she had to go meet Buddy at his hotel room, one of those situations, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's just real crazy that um it's come down to this, and then you see the ramifications of like early child stars, and when they become adults, a lot of them don't become, not saying upstanding citizens, but their mental health is not up to par. And it's like, yo, how could us being as viewers and people who watching them, you would think like, damn, you got the greatest job ever, and you on TV and you getting money and you going to these top tier award shows, but we don't know what they had to give up to get to that level. We don't know what sacrifices they had to make to get there. And then when you see the end result of them being like on drugs and doped out their mind, and you start to ask yourself like, well, why? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? It even goes all the way back to what's that show with Ted Br- Todd Bridges?
Different
Um
strokes.
Different Strokes, you know what I'm saying? Pause. You know what I'm saying? It goes all the way back then. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like all of them shows all have one thing in common, and it's Hollywood and Hollywood money pushing these shows to be out there. And it's like, hey, dare I say, when it comes to getting those checks cut,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to quote Hori Holcomb again. Your asshole must be sacrificed. It almost seems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because it's like,
start the
if you
game.
ask a psychologist, a top tier psychologist, what are the symptoms of SA and all these other things? What are the symptoms that a person does to cope with those things? I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure they'll say a lot of these things, drugs, alcohol, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people became alcoholics, drug addicts. And it's like, how? You have all this, if you're just looking at the material aspect, you had all this money, you had all this fame. How could that turn you into an alcoholic or a drug addict? But
Yeah.
again, we don't know about the other side, the dark side to Hollywood and stuff. And these top tier upper echelon producers, directors, and people who run Hollywood, they'll never, their name will never see the light of day, and no type of allegations and nothing like that. It's just sad, son. It's just
Yeah.
real sad event. I think all that should need to be washed away clean and get some new blood up in Hollywood. That's not about that. Really about the art, producing great content for us to view. And if you want my money, I want to see some lit shit. You know what I'm saying? So get some new people on here. And this is why my brother came up with Hollywood needs to ask us, because we're not about that weird. So we just want to see great content and people who love doing what they do, doing it to the utmost top tier ability that they can, you know what I mean, showcase to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, at the end of the day, if this man did it, then he should pay he should pay some sort of price for this. You know what I'm saying? He should. I know the statute of limitations is far beyond, but this should impact his reputation in Hollywood, in work. Well, it's Hollywood, but just his endorsements, whatever he has going on as far as business. If this is the type of time that he's been on, then this should affect that. Now, do that debunk the fact that he could have been assaulted? Of course not. Of course not, because hurt people. But do you give him a pass for hurting somebody?
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? So at
Especially
the
if you never said not saying that it happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, if you don't say nothing, nothing's gonna get done. You know what I'm saying?
right,
This person, he's been saying, Corey has been saying this shit for years, and nothing's been done. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. Like, so if it's, and I'm not trying to get into that whole white and black shit, but it's a white dude saying another white dude did it, and nobody, you know what I'm saying, do
so
nothing for Buddy. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's like, I can't even imagine anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's happened to other people that will never say anything because they realize nothing's gonna happen.
And it's sad, it's really sad for real, because you know what I'm saying? It's all the way back, son. It's
It's
just
kind
it's
of
just
like
wild.
it's kind of like that scene in Showgirls where the girl she was like, "Yo, I want to meet my favorite artist," and when she met her favorite artist, and now
Bro,
she riding with the team, that was probably one of the most
bro,
ugly
that's
scenes in cinematic history.
again, we watching movies we're not supposed to be watching, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was watching that movie, everything was cool. Like, all right, whatever. I was like, yo, Jesse
They bought a
from
bell.
Saved by the Bell's on this joint. So you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
Bro, when that scene came on, that shit traumatized my little ass paws like a motherfucker, because I couldn't understand what type of shit going on here.
yeah, yeah.
Like You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
Yeah.
As a little kid, I'm watching it like, why would you do that?
Like you
Now,
you didn't
now
you didn't.
why they do it? Meaning, why would they film this? Why would you put this in the film? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? As a kid, I'm like, yo, this is wow, kid. But as getting older, it's like it's that saying where you idolize somebody, but you don't want to meet your favorite person because then you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yo, that shit was crazy, son. And another one, not so much as meeting your favorite artist, which is like, yo, that's kind of like a pun with that movie, Showgirls. But the general's daughter was something like that too. Like it was just like, yo, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine you gotta do that scene. Oh, we didn't get the trauma right. We gotta do it over.
Yeah, of course. Of
You know
course.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Because you're not gonna do it one time and it's gonna be good the one time. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's just crazy. So for it to happen to the actress and then the actors acting in it, maybe that's not they wave in real life, but they got to pretend like they some sadistic animal that
Mm-hmm.
could have some psychological effects on them too. Because it was a lot. Um, it wasn't like a TED talk, but it was like a sit down talk with Damien Idris, who played on our show Snowfall, and a bunch of other top tier level actors. And he was basically saying that how playing that character, Franklin Saint, he
Mm-hmm.
had so much psychological issues that he had to go see a shrink after. Because remember, it was on for like 6, 7 seasons.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's like 8 years of his life
Mm-hmm.
playing this character. So after a while, you know what I'm saying? Like, of him being this sadistic monster and all that stuff, like, it started to affect him in real life. You know what I'm saying? So he had to go see a shrink to like decompress and remove himself from the character of Franklin Saint. Because if you watch any behind the scenes and you watch sit downs with actors, they'll tell you like they have to embody the role. They have to like do method acting to really portray this type of character. And then sometimes when they get to a certain point, like they could show the acting ability of being that character, but then when it's like, all right, lights cut action and it's done, they gotta be themselves again, but they don't know how to pull themselves away from that character and separate themselves to be back to themselves again. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Hollywood's a weird place, son.
Yeah, I mean,
Hollywood is a real place.
like even going back to that showgirl movies, it was two things that grabbed me about that scene. One, in real life, if a woman is crushing on you like that, like the last thing you thinking to do is to rape her. You know what I'm saying? Because if she crushing on you that hard, you're going to get the draws anyway in real life. You don't have to rape the girl. And then the fact that like the homies ran the train on her the way that they did, it was just like that was, and I think that movie, um if I'm not mistaken, that movie, Players Club, came out around the same year with that scene with the girl and the light skinned dude when he
Mhm.
sent in the room by Ice Cube to basically like rape her or whatever. That was like a huge theme around that time of movies that came out. Um, and it was just like, damn, why show this, right? But there's an underlying message to everything that they showing, and being in Hollywood, showing Hollywood, showcasing how Hollywood is in a movie like Showgirls. So there's a writer that lit that's like, yeah, I'm with the nah, that came from something in somewhere. So, going back to Charlie Sheen, that those allegations, again, if he did this, then this should really affect his reputation as a man and trying to do business outside of Hollywood. If this is not, true, then it should be business as usual. But this young man has been screaming this up until the day that he died. This young man is gone. He's gone, and he was a real childhood star growing up. He was that dude in the '80s. So for him to be that the new young kid in the '80s, and for him to be assaulted like that, and nothing happened.
Yeah,
As
wow. And then my thing is, if it didn't happen, why didn't you sue him for defamation of character? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They
Good,
trying to destroy your reputation, right?
good
So
question. Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, again, I'm not saying it happened or it didn't happen, but you not acting on it doesn't also mean that you're guilty. But then it's like um you have things in your arsenal you can use
Mm-hmm.
if it's not true to combat that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For these 20 plus years, you never said no, it didn't happen. Never went after the person for defamation of character while he was still alive. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To showcase like, no, I emphatically not this type of person. I don't know why they would say this, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you did nothing for all these years is, again, that's another choice you can
Question.
make, but it just looks crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Very questionable. Very questionable. Shout out to Stuck Prism in the building. Shout out to Washida in the building. Appreciate you. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way.
That light.
Hit that like. All right, moving on. I've never heard of this gentleman, but he has a big YouTube. Pause. His name is Mr. Beast, and apparently Disney bought his channel for $2 billion. Yeah, two B's.
Damn.
Yeah. What do you think?
I've heard of him, but I don't know if I like watch a couple of his content like that. But for him to have a $2 billion deal on the table, that means you probably can't do no more YouTube. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah, they so the reports is they bought his YouTube, so he's no longer even going to be on the channel. So I mean, two
I mean,
billion.
I gotta go see like what his content was about for him for Disney to buy your channel for 2 billion. That's crazy.
Yeah, 2 billion. Yeah. Let us know what y'all think of that in the chat. $2 billion. That's a lot of
Yeah,
money.
if anybody in the chat know what Mr. Beast's content was, let us know.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with it, but to
Yeah.
get
I mean,
bought out like that for 2 billion,
yeah.
I mean
I, I
that's
seen.
generational, life changing
Yeah.
money where your grandkids gonna be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can't
Again,
can't spend $2 billion.
yeah,
Can't spend
no, no,
$2 billion.
you can't.
Yeah.
So, but yo, shout out to him, and I mean, you did what you were supposed to do, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
I saw $2 billion. Disney bought it, and I was like, I've never. Whoa, 2 billion. Okay, that's a lot of money. Uh,
Yeah. We'll never need to do YouTube ever again. You know what I'm saying?
you don't gotta do a whole lot of things ever again. You know what I'm saying?
That part too.
You know what I mean?
You,
That's crazy. If you're in Hollywood and you are not Keanu Reeves, Dave Chappelle, or Terry Crews, we know you went to Jeffrey's Island.
yeah, they never dropped the full name, which I know they're not gonna do anyway. I mean they dropped some of it. I'm lying, they did drop some of it, but
Yeah, we read them on the show.
um, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's interesting.
Yeah, some interesting people that was tied to that island in itself. Uh, but yeah, all right. So moving on. We didn't see much on Mr. Beast. I don't think anybody was really too familiar with Mr. Beast in the chat as well. But he got $2 billion from this Disney Channel to take over his channel. All right, moving on. All right, man. Okay, there's a man in the U.S. who started off as the stepfather of a 3-year-old little girl and is now the baby daddy and the boyfriend of the same little girl. Now she's 22, and now he's her man and baby daddy.
What?
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah,
that is wild.
yeah. Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a tough one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. There was pictures that surfaced when when he first met the mother, and he's holding the 3-year-old child, and now she's posting pictures like, this is my man, this is my king. You know, they have a child together, and he's with her.
talk about grooming at its ultimate finest. You know what I'm saying? About 20 years worth of grooming.
Speak on it. Gotta speak on it.
That's just crazy. Yeah, single mothers, man, it's not a good look. And again, it's not all single mothers, but the statistics prove that single mothers, the product that they produce, is not at a high level, and it's just crazy, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel sorry for the father, who was the actual father of that daughter, and never had a chance to really be in his daughter's life to steer her the right way, to show her like what type of monsters is really out here. You know what I'm saying? We got real wolves out here in sheep's clothing, you know what I'm saying? Really hiding their fangs and all that stuff. And they're gonna wait to the last minute to be very comfortable to strike. You know what I'm saying? And as a father, that's what we're here for. That's what we're let you know what type of people is out here. It don't matter if it's a male or female. Like, we done seen it and done it all to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
Bottom line, I gotta
that's
say this. Bottom line, ladies, y'all gotta be more aware, Like, real talk. Be very honest with yourself. If you have if you have children, and you have a man that's pursuing you, there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to learn how to vet. You have to learn how to vet, because I know women who have been with their boyfriend for a couple of months, and they will go off and travel and go do this, that, and the third with their boyfriend, but leave them children with people that they don't really know for real. They don't leave them with your mother, or they don't leave them with their mother, or their grandmother, or a auntie, or even a man, a grandfather that she trusts. They leave them with like her boyfriend's people. Like, you don't know these people. God forbid if they on some bullshit. Like, they just do the most unspeakable things. So it's like a lot of women put their children into harm's way and don't care, because they're only thinking about themselves in that situation, about my happiness. Going back to the movie of um with Tyrese, where baby boy, where his mother like, well, I gotta have a life too. I gotta have a life too. So women, y'all gotta do a better job in vetting these people. And men, if you're in your children's life, and your ex or your baby mother has a new dude, you gotta be a part of that vetting system, regardless if she allows you to or not, because it's not on her for you to vet the man that's going to be in your children's life when you're not around. Simple and point blank, especially if the children don't live with you. And I get it. Women make it extremely tough, damn near impossible, but you still have to show up and be there to protect your kids, to protect your son, your daughter, so that way this situation would not happen. Like, you talking about grooming at its finest. My God, to go from being this young lady's stepfather to her man is the most sick thing I've ever heard in my life. And this is not the first I've heard of this. I've heard of many family members only be there for women relatives just as a grooming process. Yeah, you can always call me. Anytime you need me, I'm there for you. And then they'll say some slick shit. Always had a crush on you, right? Like, you supposed to be this young lady's safe place. You supposed to be this young lady a pillar of inspiration and strength. But you playing on her insecurities. You playing on her mental, and in the process of playing the dad role is downright just diabolical, nasty, of the nastiest works I've ever heard. This is nasty work. And y'all know how I feel about older men dating younger women. I'm all for it. As long as they adults, I'm all for it, right? But this is nasty work. I'm talking about an adult man dating an adult woman. If that man is 50, she could be 30 something. She could be 20 something, long as she's not 18. But when you go from the role of being a father figure to now smashing her, that's a role that's built on dishonesty. When you go from her father figure to smashing her, then you never really had her best interest at heart.
I blame the mother, son. Real talk. Blame the mother 100% on that one. Just it's all about your happiness, right? Like it's not about your happiness no more when you have kids. It's not about your happiness no more. You're supposed to make yourself happy. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Mhm,
need to look to other people to make you happy. You're supposed to you find a way to build some type of rapport with the actual father of the child. Find a way. Like again, like you mentioned, these women make it so hard for the father to be there in the child's life. And it's not like the father does not want to be in the child's life. It's like they make it hard and the system makes it even harder. So you got a vindictive, bitter baby mom. On top of that, you got the system and the government backing her. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, oh, I got a better play. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Backing everything that she got, making it damn near impossible. Sometimes I understand why certain men quit and just be like, yo, fuck it, son.
mhm.
I give
Like,
up.
mhm,
I get it. I understand. You know what I'm saying? And again, women are not the best judge of character. I'm sorry to say. Like, y'all not.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Y'all really not. Because there'll be a lot of people that play on your insecurities, use it against you, get in the door, and now they're gonna finesse their way. You know what I'm saying? Like
and
we've
like,
seen it time and time and time and time and time again. Like this shit like has been going on since the beginning of time for
mhm,
forever. This is how empires fall.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? This is how empires fall because of women making bad decisions, choosing to sleep with the enemy, then
mhm,
having a child with the enemy, raising
mhm,
the child's enemy up, and thinking that that child is going to put you in position, and then turn around and have the same mindset as the enemy, which is the child's father. You know what I'm saying? Now they let all the enemy soldiers in, and now the empire is ruined.
mhm,
Is You could go through history and find that's how many empires fell because
mhm.
of women making bad decisions. You know what I'm
and
saying? Y'all got all these degrees, but y'all can't vet men for nothing. Like, what's the
and
point of you throwing your degrees on the table if you can't see if this nigga trying to finesse you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and
it don't
ladies,
add up.
y'all got to be realistic on your expectations with these relationships. When you have more, when you have a child, you have to be mindful on who you get with. When you have two, ain't no man really take you for real serious with more than one. With more than one. If you have more than one child, it's very hard for a man to take you serious. We in a different day and age. A lot of my friends have stepfathers, but the women that was around in the 60s, 70s, and 80s does not exist anymore. There was a level of femininity that they gave off, and being in service to the household, that's no longer a priority for today's women. So if you think you're a modern woman with more than one child, and even with one child is very cringe, with more than one child that a man is going to really take you serious and love up your children, if that was to happen, yo, you done struck gold. You done struck gold. But there's a vetting process that must be done. Not just you, by your family members, your mom, your dad, the men in your life have to vet this man to make sure that he's right and righteous, because the man, like men, we could tell who's creeps. We could tell that right off the back. Like, yeah, he's a creep. Oh, Charles ain't no creep. He's so good to me. He's so good to my babies. Yeah, that nigga a creep. He's a creep. I can tell. So y'all got to do a much better job in vetting these men that you're with, because it's not just your life that's on the line, it's your baby's life that's on the line. And I don't think there's no parent that has the future that they see for their child is that the whoever that the parent is dating is becoming the child's better half when they become an adult. There's no person that gets into a relationship that actually believes that's a reality one day. Crazy work, nasty work, nasty work, nasty work. I wish I could have found this dude name out because that's just nasty work. I had an ex. Her uncle was like that. Her uncle did all these nice things for her growing up because she came from a tough childhood. And one time the uncle tried her, and then me and the uncle got cool, right? So she tells me this like during our relationship, and I said, "Yo, when I see your uncle, I'ma slap the shit out of him." See, this is why I don't like telling you stuff. Da, 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 da. I said, nah, because for me, you're telling me because you can't tell nobody else or whatever, but your uncle's playing a role of being there for you, holding you down, but he has ulterior motives. And now that you're a grown ass woman, but this happened years ago when I was 16. That don't make it any better. That nigga should get slapped now anyway. But you and my uncle mad cool. I didn't know this about your uncle. So he has to be addressed. He has to realize like this shit won't be this shit it's not cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And luckily this man lived in he lived like at least 5 states away from us. Cause the way that I felt for her at that time, I kid you not, bro. And this she didn't even want to tell me this. Because this man playing a role in your life that is a safe space. He's an elder and he wants to smash. Get out of here. So moving on, club set. All right, so anything you want to add to that before we move on? My bad.
Nah, nah. It's just it's too much, son. It's like, nah, we can move on, son.
All
You know what I'm saying?
right, all right, all right. So, all right, some happy news. Some happy news. Colorado football player, two-way starter, receiver, cornerback, Travis Hunter, my bad. Travis Hunter. He surprises his mother with a dream house. So he bought her a new house and surprised her with it. What you think about that?
I mean, that's every man's dream. You know what I'm saying, to retire your family, put your mom in a new house. The fact that he could still do that, he's like what, about to be a sophomore in college. That's a
Junior,
great accomplishment.
you
He's about
junior?
to be.
Yeah.
That's a great accomplishment. You know what I'm saying, like, uh, that's phenomenal, son. That's
Hmm.
phenomenal. That's every boy's dream to grow up, be a man, and just retire your mom and she live good. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a in-house babysit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? When you got,
yeah, yeah,
saying, so there
yeah,
should be no reason why she say no to watch the kids real quick. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But that's dope. That's dope. Proud of the young man, son, doing that. That's really fire, son. Real talk.
And I think it's a tribute to him in making great decisions after leaving high school. You know what I'm saying? Going to the right schools, teaming up with the right coaches, and helping him get to the next level. And I think that was more pivotal than anything because his decisions on how he moved is against the grain. It wasn't traditional. Him being the number one player in the country, he's supposed to go to the number one schools in the country, meaning your Florida States, your Alabamas, your Floridas, your Clemsons, your Georgias, all these schools you're supposed to go to, right? If you're that caliber player, right? But at that time, he said, "Nah, I'm gonna go to Jackson State," and he had scholarship offers from all of those schools. So he went from there to go to Jackson State. Now he's at Colorado, and at 20 years old, he's able to buy his mom a house and her dream house at that. Great decisions.
Nah, facts.
So shout
All
out
around. Shit.
for doing that. What you said?
I said all around great shit. Like, that's just, you know what I'm saying? That's top tier work right there.
Hmm. Hmm. Shout out to Dusty in the building. Make sure you hit that like button, Dusty. Shout out to Cam and Make sure you hit that like button. Couple of strong gay brothers making a difference in the community. Shout out to you fellas. Yeah, shout out to Cam. Yeah, me and my brother's not gay. My brother would take your girl and I'll take your girl too, and that's a for real fact. Guarantee. All right. So hold that one. You heard? Shout out again, shout out to Dusty in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. All right, so moving on. Well, we already discussed that the new term of no homo is no diddy. So we went over that earlier in the show. That was actually a portion of the show. A South Florida school janitor was arrested for paying a 12-year-old student $5 to perform sexual acts.
Yo, son, this is just wild out here, son. Yo, what the? Yo, parents need to. Oh man, parents need to sue the school, sue the city. You know what I'm saying? Like the union, all types. Everybody need to get sued. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Oh man, that's it's just sad because that type of stuff, those sexual acts, is like it takes years and years of um, psychological evaluation to get over that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And there's never saying when you're gonna truly get over it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you send your kids to school thinking it's gonna be a safe place for them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like we're like, where can you trust? Where's the trust in the community and in quote unquote society if that's happening in the schools? Did they say what specific school and like where in South
They,
Florida?
they didn't say what Pacific school. They didn't say what Pacific school.
Like now you got janitors touching the kids, you got teachers touching the kids. It's like, yo, what the hell is going on, son?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When
See,
we
at the,
was growing, we had teachers that cared about teaching. You know what I'm saying? Cared enough about doing their job to the utmost ability to make sure the students learn something. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
You got a whole bunch of these, I don't know, son. You got these weird degenerate people running around the school touching on the kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sad, son. It's just sad all the way around, son.
They asked in the chat if both me and you have children. I have a daughter and my brother has a daughter.
Yeah, I do too. And it's growing having daughters in this day and age is like it's I mean, at any point in time in any timeline, having daughters has always been tough. You know what I'm saying? But the only problem with this day and age is we think because we have all this technology, we're advanced and all this blah 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 blah, and you make it think that there's no more bad guys. We arrested all the bad guys. No, like I said earlier, we have men, we have predators hiding in sheep's clothing. They could wear a suit and tie. That don't mean that just because he's clean cut, well shaven, and well groomed, that he's not a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Saying like my brother was saying, women can't vet men. Only men can vet men. You know what I'm saying? We could tell off rip if there was a weirdo, upstanding, all that shit. Off one conversation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like men are supposed to vet men. That's how the shit goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes all the way around. And it's like there was this thing where because everybody knows in our community that the mothers always have the kids. So anytime there's like a parent teacher conference and the father comes, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's like you done seen Orion's belt, you done seen a star come in because it's unheard of. You know what I'm saying? So when they know that the father's around, predators start moving a certain type of way. Like
Mm-hmm.
when it's only just women, I'm sorry to say, y'all all food, son.
When people see the father, they see the full picture. I remember my daughter had a situation in school, and the teacher was like, "Yeah, Mr. Johnson, that's my real name, y'all. It's actually Johnson, not Lovechild. That's my artist name, actually Lovechild." So they like, "Yeah, Mr. Johnson, we love for you to come down to the school, yada yada yada." Okay, so I get to the school, I'm listening to the teacher talk, real calm, laid back, and they like, "Yeah, I could see it. You are like your daughter, like." When you look at my daughter, you see her face, and then you see my face, I should say. You see my face, and you see the demeanor. And then she was like, "Yeah, her mom is a little bit more, rowdy." You know what I'm saying? So, but me with my calm demeanor, people could see the full picture, and then have a difference of opinion of the upbringing of what's going on with your child. You see what I'm saying? So when they see the father of children, they get the full picture of what they're dealing with within that child. And this shit is serious when you have a janitor touching on a kid that's in elementary school. Yeah, 12. Well, this is 12 year old. So she's what, in seventh grade, eighth grade. This is
Yeah,
junior middle school. So, and this is crazy, and it's not far fetched because when I was in junior high school, the girls in my junior high school were built like women. This was my mother saying this. I remember getting on the bus to go to my prom, and the girls that's coming out of the eighth grade graduation, because we're going from graduation to the prom. My mother was like, "Damn, these little chicks is built like grown women, bodies galore." But for me as a grown man, I can't look at those 12-year-old girls, 13-year-old girls and get sexually aroused. I got sexually aroused when I was 12 and 13, which was the appropriate age to be turned on by a 12 or 13-year-old girl. Not as a grown ass man. So as a grown ass man, you around 12 or 13-year-old girls and you getting excited, bro, you have a problem. You have a problem. You need your ass beat, and then you have a problem. I just don't even understand that. Like, there's little girls that play outside all the time, and every time I come in, they'll say, "Hey, I like your sneakers, Mister," and da 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 da. I never look at those girls as like, yeah, when they get older, yeah. No, they little girls. They need direction. They shouldn't even be talking to me. They shouldn't even be talking. Where's your daddy to not speak to strangers? But because I am who I am, and I know what it's like to have a child. My daughter is older than all of them. I got Y'all can't look at me, but my daughter is older. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't tell by looking at me. I got an older daughter, and the older she gets, the more I get worried. Because when she was younger, guess who she lived with? She lived with me. So she's around my protection 24/7. Because if something was to happen to her, people feared my wrath, as they should. But now that she's older, and I fear the most because she's older, and people gonna see what they see. It's a scary feeling, man. It's a scary feeling, y'all. It's a very scary feeling. So this dude, man, this janitor, man, again, man, you got to face the consequences, man. First of all, you need help, and you need 5 minutes with a grown man that's on a different type of time. You need 5 minutes in the room with him real quick, tighten you up real quick, then get you some help, because this is not going to continue to be tolerated, man. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. This is crazy. Anything you want to add to this before we move on?
yo, they said, yo, there are no daddies in the home. They all trying to make it to Hollywood.
Yo,
Nah, that's funny. That's funny.
that's not
Uh,
supposed to be funny, but that is funny. That is.
the single moms, they daddy is the government. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
they daddy. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? So
Body
daddy,
cancer
the
staff.
government told the single moms you can't have the real father in the house. So you know what they chose. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate because this more importantly, this is why fathers are needed. Like, this is the most important reason why fathers are needed. Whether you have a son with your baby moms or you have a daughter, it doesn't matter. Fathers are needed to implement that discipline and implement that structure.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, again, like I say all the time, we know motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know how people move. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Not far fetched. Like you can't hide that shit from another man. You could sing, dance, and play a tune on a female,
Mm-hmm.
but when you come around real men, they're gonna spot that shit out real quick. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
nigga ain't right. You need to get him out, get him up out of here. But
I know.
because of there's like on some, oh, it's my happiness and
Mm-hmm.
blah 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 blah, it supersedes everything else. You know what I'm saying?
I know a dude. As soon as I met him, off the back, just yeah, he's a scumbag. And it was one of my ex's homegirls' brother. He had just did a bid, and when he came home and I met him, I said, "Yeah." I turned to my ex. I said, "Yeah, yo, watch out after that dude, cause that dude is, you know what I'm saying? He one of them." And she,
Mm-hmm.
this so nice. Nah, he one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna tighten him up real quick. He one of them. So beware. His sister, he tried to kill his sister, bro, by poisoning her food. She ends up in the hospital, in ICU, right? Comes to my door, tells my ex, yo, my sister is dead. She's in the ICU. Da 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 da. And I'm like, so when I come to the door, my girl is crying and he's standing there. I'm like, yo, what the fuck did you tell her? He was like, no, 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 no. I was just telling her my sister passed away. I said, damn, I'm sorry to hear that. She was like, yeah, babe, he's in ICU. She's in ICU. ICU? That that lady ain't dead if she in ICU. ICU recovery. What ICU, your situation could get worse or your situation could get better. It's ICU. It's just a time to recover. So she's not pronounced dead. So I told her, calm down. We'll go to the hospital. Da 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 da. Went to the hospital. She's still alive to this day. That
That's
was his
beautiful.
that was his way of getting sympathy from the women in the complex so he could get to them panty draws. That's what he was trying to do. Feel what I'm saying? And because I peeped it, I was able to rectify that because he said some slick to my ex about my daughter. And that man had to call the cops on me, bro. I was in his apartment. He had to call the cops on me. He would not come outside his room. I kid you not. I'm not saying this shit for no likes. I'm keeping this a buck. I'm not saying this for no type of likes. This is real life. I went to this man's house. I addressed him that I was going to beat his ass. He went into his room and called the cops and would not come out until the cops came because I wasn't going to leave. But I'm smart enough not to wreck his shit because I'm not going to be taken in for wrecking his home. So that way, because the cops came, I was able to put what he was saying on record. And I had a whole restraining order against this dude. I couldn't come in, 100 feet of this dude and all this, that, and the third. But that's real. That's real, y'all. That's very real. All right. So, I'm giving y'all a lot of real stories tonight. I don't, maybe it's just the subject matter. I don't know. I don't know. All right. So moving on. Moving on. All right. What are the top 5 states that you would think have the highest rent right now? Matter of fact, give me 3 off the top, and I'm gonna tell you the top 5 states that got the highest rent right now.
Highest rent. California, New York, Massachusetts.
All in the top 5. All in the top 5. So the number one is Hawaii. Number one is Hawaii. Number two is
Yeah.
California. Number three is Massachusetts. Number four is New York City, and number 5 is New Jersey.
Yeah, Hawaii for sure. Number one. They got ship everything in, so the cost of living is definitely way up. Cali, it's been expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me for a minute. New York, you already know they raping everybody out
Yeah,
there on cost of living,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're not getting nothing back in return for the
You get
amount of rape they're doing in rent. You know what I'm
you
saying?
get you get a shoebox,
Yeah,
shoebox,
right.
very
You
small,
love
very
Yeah,
small.
yeah. So it's just insane how they expect people to live. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just.
I'm
Like
seeing
nothing makes sense, son.
I'm seeing Washington in the chat. Yeah, why? You know what's interesting? California, the state of California, and the state of Washington is supposed to be the only two states. No, it's the state of Washington is supposed to be the only two states. Well, Washington State, because Washington D.C. and Washington State. So Washington and California is supposed to be the only two states that have rent control.
I don't understand why no other states have that. Like it should be, if we quote unquote united, all states should have rent control. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just as a bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go past this point. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about it, if a family's been there for 2 years, paying 1,500, and rent controls at least at 17, and you
Mm-hmm.
tell them, yo, all right, we're gonna raise it to 17. They can't do it, so they move out. You get a new family to come in paying that 17.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that $1,500 you was getting for the last 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
one family, one apartment in the building, not including all the other apartments in that same building.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all can't tell me, landlords and people who own property that y'all don't have this bread. Where the bread at?
Mm-hmm. They said
Yeah.
that everybody
Mhm.
rent low because we paying for these lies.
Yeah,
For
I'm saying, because it's like, even if you have an apartment building with just 10 apartments, we keep it simple, 10 apartments, and you've been had this apartment building since the fucking 80s, and motherfuckers been in that apartment building since forever. Because when there's Section 8 housing, people don't leave. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
They pretty much in there. They should have been already grandfathered in and not paying. It should be at a point where you're not paying rent no more.
right,
If you done paid for that whole building 10 times over already.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Even at a reduced rate.
Even if you pay $500 a month, $500 a month, bare minimum, 10 apartments, that's $5,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, every year for 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
how much money is that? So you mean to tell me y'all don't got no more bread?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, niggas is paying for your penthouse, your G5, your yacht. You blowing all the money, so that's why you raising the rent, because none of it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you took 2 years to renovate the apartment, get it up to good standing, get new appliances, cool. Raise it up an extra $100, whatever. You're making the money back in a year or two.
Right. Not
So
even
where's the money?
yeah, too. They already made that money. Anytime there's renovations, they already made that money 10 times over to do renovations.
Right. Because you had to have the money up front
Right.
to pay for the renovations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, none of it makes sense. And it's like, if you could turn around and you're gonna tell me that New York and all these states is very expensive, but you're gonna bring immigrants in, but they don't even use. Remember when I was growing up, it was aliens.
Right. Illegal aliens. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't even use that term no more.
Yeah.
So
Now it's
now, a couple of years ago, it was immigrants. Now it's migrants.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Stop playing, son. Y'all changing the word. These word games y'all playing around with is, you know what I'm saying? It's not it. You know what I'm saying? So for you to turn around and tell somebody they're paying $2,400 a month, and then you move quote unquote migrants in, and they get free rent,
Mm-hmm.
you can't even give a nigga a free month.
Right. Right. And it should, and in real talk, this is how it should be. The rent should be lower than what it is now, all aboard. That's all across. That's just what it should be lower at least by $200 a month. At least. That's bare minimum. And then on top of that, people should get a free month every year. Not just the one time that you move in. You should get that every year that your lease is that you're within your lease. And you should be able to control when you get your free month. right? Not when they tell you to get your free month. You should be able to control when you get your free month. So people should get a free month every year. And places like Texas and Florida, especially in Florida, because Florida is known for this, like they have the rent for everybody, and then there's rent that's income restricted. So if you get one of them income restricted, but you have to make what's in the income restricted portion to get that apartment. So for example, if you're able to get like a 3 bedroom for like $1,000, that's actually real, and it could be a nice place in Florida. But that's income restricted. But other places, if it's not income restricted, man, you talk about a glaze session. They could go from your rent from being 1700 to anywhere to like 2,200. You be like, Martin, I'm not paying the five. Like,
All right.
that's how crazy that jump can be from one year to the next.
And then look at it like this: even with the income restricted shit, right? You still struggling to play the thousand. Because remember, it's a certain type of bracket, a certain type of tier. You can only make this amount of money. So
Mm.
there's no way for you to ever level up and be in an income restriction or you know what I'm saying, section 8, stack your bread and then move out to get a crib.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as you get a higher paying job, guess what? You can't be in that income restricted home no more. You broke the violation. You know what I'm saying?
But
So it's
see,
like my point is this: if you could have a property that's income restricted, that means you could have another property that doesn't need to have income restricted where you don't have to raise the rent. You know what I'm saying?
here's the thing to add on when it's not income restricted, right? So if it's not income restricted, now you need to make 3 times the amount of what the rent is. So now let's say your rent is 2 grand. So you need to make 3 times that amount of 2 grand to get that regular apartment.
But my point is this: it's like they making the shit up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
It,
That goes to what I'm saying.
they just making the shit up. Oh,
Right.
oh, it's
Right.
income restriction, so we'll just we'll look at your finances and like, all right, well, $1,000. But then if I'm making this money over here, why are you gonna raise my rent up? Because I'm making this much money over here. Like I can't save no bread. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's the point I'm making. So if you income restricted, right, you get that spot for $1,000. Now that you're not income restricted, now you need to make 3 times the amount. So again, if your rent is like 2,500, so you can't make 5 grand for the month and be cool. You gotta make you gotta make 3 times that amount. You gotta make at least 75 to 8 grand a month just to get a spot that's only worth 2,500 a month.
And realistically, like for you to be quote unquote middle class, you got to be making at least $167,000 a year to barely scratch middle class now. You know what I'm saying? Now we're talking about not having no student loans, not having no credit card debt, no car loan debt, none of that shit.
How much you said? Say that again.
167,000.
No, that's upper middle class.
No, that's low. Now it's lower middle class. It's not even upper middle class no more.
No, that's when you're higher class, it starts at 180.
Yeah, I said 167. You like lower middle class. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and ain't no jobs really paying like that unless you in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And how many people
Right.
in that?
Or in law enforcement. If
How
you
many
in
people?
if you're in law enforcement for past anywhere from 8 years, you can make anywhere from 112 to about 265.
Shit. And you got put in 8 years. And we talking about law enforcement. That's a hard ass job. That's not no easy job, son.
Right, but there's different tiers of law enforcement. So we're talking about most people when they hear law enforcement, they think cops, they think corrections. But we got different forms of it. There's transit, like in Money Train. There's surveillance. There's different forms of law enforcement. So if you work within the law enforcement range, you could be in the middle class range very quickly. But then again, it's law enforcement, so you fear for your life every day. This it's not like it's a job that you just get there, you show up and you smile and you, hey, no, it's you fighting for your life every day.
every day. So yeah, I wouldn't mind them. They pay. You know what I'm saying? Make them showcase how appreciative they are to be to have the job they have. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not no easy job, son.
But for
A routine traffic stop can end in somebody's life being taken. You know what I'm saying? It ain't
but
never routine.
but for me, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. Like I tell people this shit all the time. Money is not real. It's not. You can have $100,000 today and it be gone. What it's about is the cost of living. Not that you don't know that. I'm just saying that for everybody within the chat. It's the cost of living. If they bring down the cost of living, money would not be an issue. Because again, we talked about this all the time. To get an apartment back in the 90s, it was about like $400 or $500. But how much people was getting paid by and large in the 90s? See what I'm saying? So it's not the money aspect, it's the cost of living. Gas. We talked about it just the other day. We remember a time where gas was $1.50. You know what I'm saying? For the petrol. Now you can't go nowhere without the gas being about $3 and five. I mean $3.50 and higher. $4.01. So having the cost of living. So if you're gonna raise our pay, raising the pay, all they're gonna do is raise the cost of living. If you raise our pay and lower the cost of living, then that makes more sense. If they cared about us having a better quality of life. Obviously, they don't care about the quality of life because if you say, "All right, we're going to up your pay from 40,000 to 80,000," you like, "Oh yeah, that's good." But now the cost of living is going to go up. So your normal gas, instead of paying $3 to $4, now is $8, and that's very possible because in California they paying about $8. So that's very possible. Now your rent, instead of it being $1,000, now to get or get rent is 3 grand. Orlando is, well, in Orlando, Florida, different parts of Florida. Now they advertising how apartments as rooms. They like, yo, you could get this 3-bedroom room for $1,000 per roommate. Per roommate. So for so I could get the spot, but I need roommates. So y'all gonna be in control of picking my roommate. So I'm basically getting a 1 bedroom and access to everything else. I'm not getting a whole apartment for 1,000. You see what I'm saying? How they try to advertise it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the cost of living. Food. I remember Crisco oil used to be like $1.25. Crisco oil like 350, 360.
My thing is, who the fuck is making these decisions of cost of living? You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. Like, if the same apartment building and the same apartment that hasn't changed since the 80s used to be 500, now that same apartment is 2,900. Who the fuck made that decision? If
Hmm.
the if that apartment's been there since the 80s, right? And there's people been living in it, paying you rent, right? All the way up until now. Now all of a sudden it's $2,900, almost $3,000. For 40 years, where has that money been going, son?
Bro, my father and my mother got an apartment in 1980. When they got divorced, my mother moved out. My father kept that apartment up until the day that he died. So from 1980 all the way to 2018, all the repairs that was done to that apartment was very minor repairs. So we're talking about from 1980 all the way to 2018. How much money, how much rent did they make from 1980? This was before I was even a thought. From 1980 all the way to 2018.
Come on, son. Come on. Like you said, this shit is a game. None of this shit is real. None of this shit makes sense. None of it, son. And then now that especially we live in Florida, I remember my hairdresser was telling me when she was growing up, She had like orange trees, she had mango trees, she had a whole bunch of fruit trees growing up. And then one day, when she was like in a junior in high school or whatever, she came home, all the trees were gone. And then she went to her grandma, was like, "Oh, what happened to the trees?" She was like, "Oh, the city said it's illegal now to grow your own trees." Like what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Take that up, yo.
Like, yo, they just making the shit up. Like, oh, I got a better play. I don't like this play. I got a better play for y'all.
Yeah.
And all the plays they got is ass. It
And,
all leads to us suffering more, but silently suffering.
mm-hmm. It doesn't benefit us in the quality of our life, man. So, y'all people, we gotta do a better job. Like how we was talking about women vetting ain't shit men. As a society, we gotta do a better job in vetting who we have in office, so that way we get what we need, not just in the major front, but also in the local front. Because those people that work for you locally, them aldermans, them the mayors, the all the people that's locally in your district. Those are the people that makes the decision in your district. So we have to do a better job in vetting these people and making sure that we get what we need for our quality of life. Because it seemed like when I go to other countries, the other countries, if the people quality of life is great, then the country is great. Here, it seems like the more we suffer, the more they feel like we're great, and we're not. We got migrants that's coming to this country, and just so happily, our country have enough resources to say, hey, you're gonna get free rent for 2 years if you move over here. We're gonna start a worldwide program where you could buy a house with no money down and no closing costs. And guess what? You don't have to even pay a mortgage. You get in a mortgage free house. But the only time we're gonna collect our bread is if you sell the house. So when you sell the house, we'll get our bread back plus the interest. That's the only time they're gonna get this. So all this time they had all these resources for people that's already been putting in their blood, sweat, and tears, been working their ass off, and people gonna fall off. Like that's not a thing. Like people gonna make money and then people gonna fall off. It's life. Where's these programs that help get these people and their family back to where they were, or just even just get them in a fighting chance of being productive instead of just throwing them away?
Yo, Rowan Jack says something interesting. He's like, go back to the chat. He's like, where's it at? Let me go back to it. He's like, yo, we can't have rain barrels in Washington. As much as it rains, we're not entitled to the sky water, right? So here's an interest. When he said that, I had a great idea just pop in my mind, right? Why is it that we paying for water, right? When you can easily, if you live in an apartment complex, you could easily put a rain catcher on top of all the apartments, catch the rain, filter it. You know what I'm saying? And dispense it throughout all the apartment buildings. As much as rain that we get in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're paying for water, blood.
Yeah, they
You know
but
what
they
I'm saying?
but they will also have to filter away to keep the rats from getting to that water supply, because that's where rats go first. To according
Yeah, I
to
mean, they got technology to get rats up out of there. But I'm just saying, like, you could
fact.
have I always thought that when we was in the city, you remember those big drums on top of the buildings? I
Yeah,
always thought that's what they were. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that they will come from those.
Yeah, they catching the water. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? That's where it's coming from. You got paid for that. But no.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So that could kind of help with the cities flooding all over the place. You know what I'm saying? You got more water being cat if there's you can if there's a certain time where not getting enough water, then you could use that as a reserve. But it's like, yep, they don't give a gee whiz, son.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? They don't give a gee.
So the gee whiz.
They don't give a gee whiz, kid. It's like it just it is what it is, son. I don't know what to say to this shit. It's like, I don't want to say, oh, it's just life, because this can't be life, son. Ain't no way in hell this is supposed to be how life is. Just like my man Cameron says, like, oh, you go to college, come out of college, you pay 30,000, you get paid 30,000, you gotta give 10% to taxes, you left with 28,000, your apartment is 900 a month. No, he said 500 in 2006. Your
Yeah,
apartment
yeah.
$500 a month. You know what I'm saying? You gotta eat. How you gonna get fresh?
Mm-hmm.
System ain't built for us. This system is tired, old, it needs to be revamped. All these other countries revamping their system, putting the citizens and the people first.
Mm-hmm.
You have a happy citizen and a happy people, you're gonna get money back.
Right.
Easy.
You're gonna get a whole lot more money back.
A whole lot more money if more people are happy.
Mm-hmm. Bro, when I'm happy, I spend. Like, for some reason, when I'm just happy, it's like, yo, I don't really need that for real, but you know what I'm saying? But that's when I find myself spending more is when I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it goes to your point, that quality of life, and our quality of life is not the forefront of our country. Our country benefits on our pain, our death. Again, when we die, because we in the country that we live in, we have what they call treasury hunt, meaning every state, when somebody dies, and there's nobody, if that person don't have a will or have some sort of uh what's the thing I'm uh
State.
damn a state that, that this goes to the treasury hunt. And in the treasury hunt, you could go to your state's treasury hunt, look for your name, type in the treasury hunt, and see if there's money that you have yet to receive in your name. I guarantee you, somebody that's died in your family, if you go to the state that they lived in, their name is on that treasury hunt. And then if nobody ever claimed it or have the proper work to ever claim it, because there's no estate and there's no will, then at some point the government could leverage that money as credit and just take the
Run
bread.
it and run
So
it up.
so again, our country don't benefit on us living and being productive citizens of society. That's bullshit.
Right.
So moving on, last one. Uh, this is crazy. So a man, a betting man, he takes a $2 parlay and turns it into $1,500, right? But he receives an email from FanDuel that his winnings has been garnished by child support.
How the fuck? How the fuck does child support get in contact with FanDuel, son? Yo, son. Yo, come on, son. Bro, you ain't come after the buddy for the $2. You came after him for the 1,500. How'd y'all even know about that? Who's snitching over there in FanDuel? Because ain't no way when you set up an account with FanDuel, they asking you all your financials. You know what I'm saying? Come on, son.
I thought FanDuel just asked you for your name, your date of birth, your birthday or whatever, and your account information. I did not know, but I did not know that now that child support can act, and it's crazy, child support is deemed illegal. So for the fact that they got the power to, now they rocking with FanDuel, now they taking dudes winnings. That could have been his last $2.
Now he really hate his baby mama to the utmost degree. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is this: if child support is already deemed unconstitutional, where the fuck is the lawyers to get rid of child support?
Child support is actually, yeah, again, I could look this up, man. It's voluntary. It's voluntary. It's voluntary. They deem child support voluntary. That's how the language reads out. When you go to court, if you ever went to court for child support, because I have, it's voluntary. But the way they make it seem, they like, yeah, nah. But they have this thing, especially in New York. If you live in New York City, they have what's called enforcement. Child support and child support enforcement is two different entities. Two different entities. Child support enforcement enforces and comes and makes you sign different things and agreements to make sure that you don't lose your license or your passport. Child support just focus on the money, but they two different entities though. You could owe child support and then owe child support enforcement. You could go to child support and say, "Yo, here's $400 that I owed y'all." All right, cool. Your stuff's still not off. You got to go to the enforcement office and give them their 250. But I just gave y'all bread. Nah, but you got to go to the enforcement to take your name off. This is
It's two different, but it's two different things. But it seemed like they the same motherfuckers because they both after my bread.
right. Yeah.
The little money a nigga got. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all got my financials. Like, your shit crazy, son.
And in New York, if you don't pay your child support, they can take your whip.
How the fuck I'm gonna get to work? Yo, they don't make no sense. They could suspend your license, so you run the risk of driving to work on a suspended license. Now you get pulled over, you deal with the cops, you riding dirty. Now they take you in, you go to jail.
You paying for the jail, you paying for the towage, you paying for the frontage, you paying for the toll fee, you paying for the driver gas, because they add all this shit up to pick your stuff up.
Nah, son. Yo, the next politicians going to office, yo, this is what I need from you motherfuckers. You need to get rid of child support. Point blank, period. The state could find another way to make money. How about y'all make money off selling weed? How about that?
I mean,
that's make the money real fast.
Right. That's what they turn weed legal.
They need to do it all across the board, son. All states. Because certain states is semi quasi legal. Other states is fully recreational. This state is only for medicinal. This state is like hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like yo, son. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, how y'all going to school to study law? You see your mans and them getting violated in child support, and y'all don't think to go like, yo, let me look into this for my mans, my homie's sake. Ain't none of y'all have friends that going through, you know what I'm saying, child support shit while you going into law school? Come on, so stop it. A family member?
Yeah,
nobody.
This is reckless. I mean, now
that's reckless behavior, sir.
They taking money out of FanDuel and some of these
and
other.
I bet Buddy's parlay was just so on point, and he was, you know what I'm saying, he was excited about getting that bread.
Bro, when you got a parlay and you turn $2 into $1,500, that means
you have to be impeccable picking, son.
You
talking about $1,500 from $2.
That's impeccable. That's
about 8 quarters.
This is Michael Jordan picking right here. Like, you the Michael Jordan of picking winners, bro. Top level.
And here comes child support. Like, oh, give me that. Not even taxes.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I could understand maybe taxes. Oh, you made $1,500. We're gonna need, like, you know what I'm saying, 10% of that. Cool, I could get that. But child support? How? What state did this happen in, son?
They would not specify. Because now if they specify, you know dudes is gonna finesse. You know finesse.
We always gonna find a way to finesse.
But so they not gonna release the state for that. They not
Yo,
going.
buddy, that shit happened to, you need to come on Instagram or live or something and say, yo, that was me. I live in such and such. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is
Because you
crazy.
have access to that now, blood.
Yeah, this is crazy. That's crazy. All right, moving on. Our next segment is brought to you by Bravo Section. Make sure y'all go to bigbravosection.com. Again, bigbravosection.com. Book a session with one of the best photographers in the world. If you're in the Miami area, if you're not, still book it. Fly out and hook your session up today. Again, bigbravosection.com. Again, bigbravosection.com. You got a petty thought?
All right, so y'all know that how they land these quote unquote migrants coming to this country, going to certain cities and states, and they housing them, giving them all kind of benefits and all these government assistance, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
as I was saying before in an earlier portion of Can the Brothers Get a Rap, I mentioned the word alien. So we're gonna go into the Black's Law Dictionary tonight and find out what the legal definition of the word alien means. All right. So alien means a foreign born person who has not qualified as a citizen of the country, but yet as an alien is a person within the meaning of the 14th Amendment due process clause of the United States Constitution to the same extent as a citizen. So you are 14th Amendment, you under the process of the 14th Amendment, right? So now remember, they went from alien to immigrant, right? So what does immigrant mean? Immigrant is an alien in a country except in the United States, one within a specified class within the Immigration and Nationality Act, one who leaves a country to permanently settle in another, right? Now, what does immigration mean? Immigration means the coming into the country of foreigners for the purpose of permanent residence. The correlative term immigration with an E denotes the act of such person in leaving their former country, right? Now, it seems as though that these particular people coming into this country have certain special things that's going on with them, right? So I feel as though that these people have immunity. Now, what does immunity mean? Right? Immunity means exemption as from serving in an office or performing duties which the law generally requires other citizens to perform, like pay rent, right? Exemption from paying taxes, freedom or exemption from penalty, burden, or duty, uh, such as special privilege, exemption, judicial immunity, legislative immunity, parent slash child immunity, privilege, and sovereign immunity. You know what I'm saying? So they're playing word games and word salad with us. So that's why I went back to the Black's Law Dictionary, the Bible of all Bibles, to figure out what's going on. When's the last time you heard a foreigner being called the alien?
Since the 90s, 2000s. It's
You
been
know
a
what I'm
while.
saying? But that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We thinking aliens is motherfuckers from outer space. No, 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 no. It's foreigners coming into the country that have to go through the due process. But while they here, they have protections under the 14th Amendment. I should look up what the 14th Amendment is. I think I had wrote what the 14th Amendment was. No, I did the 16th Amendment. All right, so that's gonna be the next. That's gonna be the for Thursday. I'm gonna do the definition of 14th Amendment. But they playing around with us, y'all. Like we need to get together and get these people up out of here, cause shit ain't going right, son. Because they damn sure taking over and they getting the money that we supposed to get. Either if it's going to fucking Ukraine, Israel, or it's going to these quote unquote migrants who are actually aliens. You know what I'm saying? So that's my petty thought for this evening. We got petty law, and those were the words for this evening: alien, immigrant, immigration, and immunity. Again, well, these were more specified um, towards the topics earlier, so that's why I picked these words. But normally I do random words. So if anybody in the chat wants me to look up any random words for Thursday, I got y'all. Okay, Rowan Jack, tortuous interference. All right, let me write that because you just hit me with a doozy with that word. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna write that one down and I'm gonna add it to the list. If anybody else got some words that y'all want to know the legal definition to these words, because they're words that we use every day that we just use in a general sense, but these words have legal ramifications if we don't understand what they mean legally. So this is why I bring this part up in Petty Thoughts, because you're gonna rock with us, you gotta rock with us all the way. And you got, you know what I'm saying? We up here with it with our level of thinking. So this is why I brought this to the forefront. I'm breaking down words legally. You know what I'm saying? It's not illegal to read. You know what I'm saying? They ain't make it illegal yet. So I got no problem with reading and figuring out what shit is, because reading is fundamental. You know what I'm saying? So what was the word again? Tortuous. All right. So that's my petty thought, is those words: immunity, alien, immigrant, and immigration.
Fire. Moving on to the next segment, keep the lie live
Keep
segment.
the lie alive.
Keep the lie alive. So this keep the lie alive segment has been a running theme all show long. For some reason, it's in plain sight. Uh, like we think that the most obvious things are stuff that's going to stick out. No, the most obvious things and the most detrimental things is the stuff that's hiding in plain sight. We talked about it every step of the show. When we talked about the man that went from being the stepfather to now being the boyfriend, that's hiding in plain sight. When we talked about the other man, that's the janitor that's trying to did sexual acts with this 12-year-old little girl. That's in plain sight. We're talking about uh uh the way that our cost of living is going up. That's right in our face, and there's no rhyme or reasoning for these things to be happening when we all understand just our senses that we could gather up that they're not working in the best interest of us as people. So again, hiding in plain sight is right in front of our faces, and we looking everywhere. We looking to the side instead of looking right in front of us. We talked about that even with women vetting the right men, hiding in plain sight. We've been talking about this all night. Even the movies that we mentioned. This is crazy. Like this whole show has been about this, and me and my brother, we don't tell each other what we're going to mention on the show beforehand. We don't have that conversation. So it's just crazy to me that all these things that we mentioned is hiding in plain sight. I mentioned the movie Twa, hiding in plain sight. VHS, hiding in plain sight. The Great Divine, hiding in plain sight. I mean, everything that we spoke on has been hiding in plain sight. Keep your antennas, because the things that affects you the most is right in your face. and and being sensible and being smart is to change the things that you can change. Like if you keep doing the same thing over and over and you're failing at it, that's a form of insanity. But you have to change the things that you can change, so that way you can get your quality of life, because nobody's going to care about you more than you. If you ain't for the government to come and care about us, that's not going to happen. They got more resources. They put more resources behind people who's not even haven't put no blood, sweat, and tears in our own country. So that lets you know what they think about us as people who've been here for not just this generation, but the generation before us and the generation before them. We are the
Facts.
foundation of people that built this country, and they hiding in plain sight by doing things like having TV shows that has subject matter that would uh, massage their messaging. They will pay a famous actor to do a commercial and say, "Hey, we need to help the migrants in this country." or they hire another famous actor to do a movie that showcase that actor falling in love with his niece, and that makes it okay. Hiding in plain sight. The Corey Haim situation, the alleged situation with Corey Haim and the actor Charlie Sheen. This happened on the set in between, allegedly happened on the set in between trailers, outside of the trailer, hiding in plain sight. This has been a running theme. So beware of things that's right in your face.
Don't be fooled. Excuse me. Don't be fooled by the glitz and glamour and all that shit. Like that shit don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've been showing us all these signs for years. You know what I'm saying? They've been grooming us to see all this shit. So now when we see it, we need to call it out. You know what I'm saying? It's facts. Like even the movies I had picked, Antitrust, The Net, Social Network, they showing you like how they built the system for them. You know what I'm saying? And then when you go for antitrust, for example, you your own man, but then you go into their organization thinking you're gonna change shit, and they're like, no, 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 no. Either you rocking with us or you rocking with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you might as well just rock with your own, build your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Make them come to your table.
And the
Make
and
them offer. You know what I'm
my,
saying?
my bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the them that we're referring to is the elites of this country. Don't be fooled. They're hiding in plain sight. There are elites in this country that could be. They're not necessarily your next door neighbor, but you've seen them. You know who these people are. They're elites, and these are the same people that's controlling and making up rules as they go along that doesn't affect them, but it affects us in our everyday life. What you was about to say?
Perfect example of hiding in plain sight, right? I should have mentioned this last episode, but did you know? I'm pretty sure you know because you're my bro. But for the chat, did y'all know Spelman College? Did you know who's Spelman College named after?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about hiding in plain sight. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna read you from. I'm gonna read it to you. The in honor of Mrs. Laura Spelman Rockefeller
Mm-hmm.
and her parents Harvey Buell and Lucy Henry Spelman. This is the school that is named after.
Mm-hmm.
Another school is damn, what's the name of the other school? Oh man, I'm gonna get it up, but just that one was off the top of my head with hiding in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They letting y'all know what's up, and we just have to put it together. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of other schools, historically black schools, named by white people. So I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that about? But talk about hiding in plain sight. That's a big one right there. You know what I'm
And it's
saying?
not that it's named by a white person. It's held in such high regard, such high prestige. The tradition of the melanated woman goes to the school and have amount of resources and people that she can rock with when she move forward because she went to Spelman. Women from across the world go to Spelman. And they all looking like it. They all melanated. It's melanated excellence for at Spillman, not uh uh uh, not uh uh Rosa Parks University. It's at Spillman. Come on, man. All right, y'all. Yo, that's been a dope one. That's been a Sunday night episode 42. I can't believe we on 42 already, y'all.
Sunday best. You know what I'm saying?
Sunday's best, you already know. I want to thank the sponsors of the show, Bravo Section, Button Snaps, and OUV Records. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can reach me on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild, or my brother on his Instagram at.
You already know Bravo section _ stop playing Bravo section _ holla at me.
And Serious Increte only. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor of the show, one of the sponsors of the show, or if you have promotion that you want to promote, music, movies, business, whatever. We here to support and show love. Make sure you hit us up on our Instagrams. Man, yo, we'll be back Thursday at 10:30. We do two shows a week, uh, Thursday and Sunday. Tonight, obviously, our Sunday night special. We will be back on Thursday at 10:30 o'clock on Thursday at 10:30 p.m. on Thursday. Anything you want to add before we close up?
Chat, y'all been on point. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's like any other questions y'all want to ask before we get up out of here, they ask how your finger.
It's still recovering, dog. You know what I'm saying? Still throw up the west side. Nah, nah, recovery. Still in recovery. Thanks for asking, though. Appreciate you, man. For real.
Don't gatekeepers. Yeah, so
I could finger pop with this hand, though. You know what I'm saying? I go crazy with this hand. You know what I'm saying? This hand, you know, how free women they hit your hand by accident. So I go crazy with this hand, you know what I'm saying, on the finger pop. You know what I mean? So
right. But yeah, so
don't trust them gatekeepers. That's a fact. That's a
oh
fact.
yeah. Yeah, they look there, and then especially the ones that look like us, and
Mm-hmm. They say,
those
"Ooh,
are the ones that's those are the ones that'll hit you with a doozy, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They'll flip the script on you easy, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact." So y'all, man, we're gonna be back again Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Make sure to tap in. Make sure to tap
Oh,
in our
we got a
clips.
request to come to Washita. She got a show. She wanted us to come to her show type joint.
Okay. Gotta send that info. Gotta send that info. I think Washita is a dude, though. I think Washita is a dude. Um, yeah. So again, make sure y'all tap into the rewatch. Make sure y'all tap into our clips, our shorts, and we have fun questions on the community page of this channel. Help us get to 5,000 subscribers. We just went over 4,000 subscribers. And once we get over the 5,000 subscribers, the very next show, we're going to be doing some free promotional merchandise giveaways. So help us achieve our goals. Again, go to the community section, join in for the fun questions. Go to the rewatch. Watch our past episodes, and again those clips in the shorts. We got a lot of content. So make sure y'all tap in. We'll see y'all Thursday 10:30. Make sure y'all tap in. It's all love.
It's all love. We'll holla.